Samuel Guy was a true liberator, a father, unifier and nationalist South Sudanese leader who will always be remembering by generations in South Sudan's history for his immense contributions and for being an advocate of South Sudan independence. The late Honorable Samuel Guy Tut was born in 1940s, at Kermayam village, Wat Payam Nairal County Jonglei State in South Sudan. At school age he began primary school at Wangil and later attended Adar Intermediate School in Jonglei. In the year 1961 the late Samuel Guy Tut entered Rumbek Secondary School, where he completed his first and second year. In 1963 he began his third year at Rumbek Secondary School. After he finished third year, Samuel Guy Tut joined South Sudan Liberation Movement, SSLM, better known as Anya Naya. While in Anya Naya movement, he rose to the rank of commander and conducted most of his operation in the Upper Nile province of present-day South Sudan. During the Addis Ababa negotiation and subsequent agreement in 1972, he objected to the agreement, labeling it as a sellout. The late Samuel Guy Tut accused his boss, Major General Joseph Lagu, of compromising the overall interest of South Sudanese people in return for his own material gains from Arab rulers in North. The late Samuel Guy Tut was eventually convinced by his other colleagues to accept the agreement, which he did with hesitation. Being a skillful guerrilla fighter, he knew very well that the host country, Ethiopia, from where his forces operated, was already in favor of the agreement. Consequently, if he decides to continue with the struggle single-handedly without any external support, his forces would have difficulty in maintaining their logistics. So he and his forces succumbed to the agreement, but his position was already known by President Jaffar Numeri and General Joseph Lagu, who headed the Anya Naya forces in South. This was why Samuel Guy Tut was demoted to the rank of lieutenant colonel and put under strict supervision of Sudan security forces, lest he provoked an uprising in southern Sudan. Lieutenant Colonel Samuel Guy Tut retired early from the Sudan Armed Forces in 1972. This occurred 2 years after the conclusion of the Addis Ababa agreement because he objected to the combination of the ex-Anya Naya fighters with the North Sudanese Arab soldiers, which led to open quarrel with his boss Major General Joseph Lagu, the commanding officer of the Sudan Armed Forces stationed in southern Sudan region of Juba. Major General Joseph Lagu recommended the early retirement Lieutenant Colonel Samuel Guy Tut alongside with his closest friend, Captain Abdallah Chul Deng, and immediately integrated them into civil service. Retirement of Samuel Guy then became an executive director in local government. In 1975, following the Akobo mutiny by ex-Enyanya forces under the command of First Lieutenant Vincent Kwani Latcher, Samuel Guy Tut was briefly detained by Sudan Intelligence Service because they accused him of being part of the mutiny. After his release 1978, Lieutenant Colonel Samuel Guy Tut joined politics and contested a seat in the election in the southern region. From there he was appointed Minister of Wildlife's Conservation of Tourism in the government headed by retried Major General Joseph Lagu. He was twice unopposed and elected to the Southern Sudan Regional Assembly in 1978 and 1982. In 1983 the prominent South Sudanese figures met at Etang, Ethiopia, refugees camp and formed Sudan People's Liberation Movement/Army, SPLM/A, under the leadership of veteran politician Kout Adam. This move was immediately remonstrated at the same time by some Sudanese army officers and politicians who advocate for the late Dr. John Garang Damabiar to become the chairman instead of Kout Adam Damayan. This how the differences originated among the South Sudanese leaders and led to a split between two factions of SPLM/SPLA, led by Dr. John Garang on one hand and Enyanya II, headed by Lieutenant Colonel Samuel Guy Tut and Akout Adam respectively. The late Samuel Guy Tut was unfortunately killed in action SPLA forces stationed at Adura/Thayak on March 28, 1984, at 10 a.m. Sudan local time. Commander Carabino Quanin Bol, then Deputy Chairman and Commander-in-Chief, Dr. John Garang Damabiar, of SPLM/SPLA ordered 50 slashes on Samuel Guy Tut dead body to prove their anger and frustration on a dead general. Unfortunately, Guy Tut met his untimely death at the hand of his fellow Southerners in spite of the fact that he dedicated his entire life for the cause of South Sudanese people. He had confirmed more than 7 gunshots wounds during Anyanyao War in 1960s, including losing finger on his right hand which was injured by an enemy's bullet. The SPLM/SPLA led by Dr. John Garang Damabiar, who malicious opposed the call for liberation of an independence of South Sudan state in favor of a united, secular, New Sudan which they later abandoned. The dream of Samuel Guy Tut and his colleagues who perished along with him including 1. Joseph Otaho.